kilos. Very sail in Zeppelin curve is P5. James Allen is P1. Very sail is 5th. Rene Robertson is 4th. James Allen is P1. Best lap is a 1:25.014. Barry Sale in Hasserota is P5. Glenfield is P4. Best lap is a 1:25.418. Barry Sale in Zeppelin curve is 5th. "55 minutes remaining in the session. Glenfield is P4. Barry Sale is 5th. Best lap is a 1:26.922. Masaj Sadolski is P3. Brian Patterson is P6 with 10 kilos. Glenfield in Bauer curve is 4th. Brian Patterson is P6. Massage Sadolski in Hotel is P4. Best lap is a 1:25.325. Brian Patterson in Hotel is P6. Best lap is a 1:26.338. Glenfield is P3. Best lap is a 1:25.324. Rene Robertson in Zeppelin curve is P2. John Astrup is 7th with 50 kilos. Rene Robertson is 2nd. Best lap is a 1:25.098. Minutes remaining in the session. Massage Sadolski in Shell curve is 4th. James Allen is 2nd. John Astrup is 7th. Brian Patterson in Hasserota is 6th. Best lap is a 1:26.054. James Allen is P3. Rene Robertson in Hotel is P4. Dominic Favagyu in Triple is 8th with 10 kilos. Masaj Sadolski is 5th. Brian Patterson is P6. John Astrup is P1. Masaj Sadolski in Triple is 3rd with 70 kilos. Best lap is a 1:24.759. Crispin Williamson is P9 with 70 kilos. James Allen in Armagh Curve is 4th. 45 minutes remaining in the session. Robert Cormack in Shell Curve is 10th on softs. Brian Patterson is P7. Robert Cormack in Hasserota is P10. pre-sale is 8th. Best lap is a 1:26.079. Brian Patterson is 7th. Rene Robertson is 6th. Robert Cormack in triple is 10th. Maciej Sadowski is 4th. James Allen in triple is P5. Best lap is a 1:24.818. Rene Robertson in hotel is P6. Dominic Favagyu in Hasseröder is 10th. Best lap is a 1:26.613. Robert Cormack in Zeppelin Curve is P8. 40 minutes remaining in the session. Crispin Williamson in McDonald's is second with 70 kilos. Best lap is a 1:23.656. Robert Cormack is P8. Best lap is a 1:26.040. Brian Patterson is 7th on softs. Barry Sale is P9. Dominic Favagu is 10th. Best lap is a 1:26.515. Masaj Sadolski is 4th. Best lap is a 1:24.597. Brian Patterson is P8. Robert Cormack is P8. Best lap is a 1:25.250. Masaj Sadolski in triple is P4. John Astrup is first on mediums. Dominic Favagu is P10. Glenn Field is 4th. Best lap is a 1:24.158. 35 minutes remaining in the session. James Allen is P6. John Astrup is first on mediums. Best lap is a 1:22.986. Daniel Handke is 12th with 70 kilos. Masaj Sadolski is P5 on mediums. Glenfield is P4. Maciej Sadowski is 6th. Crispin Williamson in Bauer Curve is 2nd on hards. John Astrup is 1st. David Forsyth is 12th with 10 kilos on softs. Best lap is a 1:26.292. Dominic Favagu is P11. Best lap is a 1:26.237. Daniel Handke is 5th. Crispin Williamson in Hasseröder is 2nd on hards. Minutes remaining in the session. Brian Patterson is 3rd. Best lap is a 1:23.710. Daniel Handke in Bauer Curve is P5. Robert Cormack is 9th on mediums. Brian Patterson in Hasseröder is P3. David Forsyth is P10. Best lap is a 1:25.271. Glenfield is 5th. Robert Cormack is P9. Daniel Hankin McDonald's is P4. Best lap is a 1:23.909. Dominic Vavagu is P12 on hards. Marta Jawol is 13th with 70 kilos on hards. Dominic Vavagu in triple is P12. John Astrup is P1. "25 minutes remaining in the session. David Forsyth is P10. John Astrup in hotel is P1 with 50 kilos. Marta Jawol is 13th on hards. John Astrup is P1 on mediums. Jack Betting in hotel is 14th on softs. Martignol in Hasserota is P13 on mediums. Best lap is a 1:26.248. James Allen in Alman curve is 7. Jack Betting is 14. John Astrup in Hotel is first. James Allen is P7. Best lap is a 1:24.651. John Astrup in Alman curve is P1. Martignol is P13. "20 minutes remaining in the session." Dominic Fagagu is 12. Brian Patterson in McDonald's is P3. Best lap is a 1:23.348. Jack Betting is P14. David Forsyth in Hotel is P10. Jack Betting in McDonald's is 14th. Crispin Williamson is P4. John Astrup in Hotel is third. Jody Fannin is P15 with 70 kilos on softs. John Astrup in Shell Curve is third. Robert Cormack is P8. Best lap is a 1:24.828. Crispin Williamson in Hotel is P4 with 70 kilos. David Forsyth is P12. Minutes remaining in the session. Jack Betting in Hotel is P10. Best lap is a 1:24.863. Brian Patterson is P1. Best lap is a 1:22.491. John Astrup is third. Robert Cormack in Hasserota is P9. Dominic Pavagu is 7th on softs. Best lap is a 1:24.034. Daniel Handke is P2 on softs. Best lap is a 1:22.964. Crispin Williamson in Hasseröder is 4th. Martin Moll is 12th on softs. Crispin Williamson in Zeppelin Curve is P4 with 70 kilos. John Astrup in Triple is P3. Daniel Handkin Hotel is P2. Robert Cormack in Hotel is P12. David Forsyth in Hotel is P14. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Martin Moll is P7. Best lap is a 1:23.849. James Allen in Hotel is P11. Robert Cormack is P12. Jody Fannin in Shell Curve is 8th. Best lap is a 1:23.952. Crispin Williamson is P5. David Forsyth in Zeppelin curve is P14 with 10 kilos. Jack Betting in Hasserota is 7th. Best lap is a 1:23.698. James Allen in Armagh curve is 12th. Martin Moll is 9th. Glenfield is P8. John Astrup is P4 on softs. Daniel Handkin Hotel is 4th on softs. James Allen in Hotel is P13. Best lap is a 1:24.644. 5 minutes remaining in the session. John Astrup in Zeppelin curve is 2nd. David Forsyth is P12. Best lap is a 1:24.603. Rene Robertson in Zeppelin curve is P2 on softs. Martin Moll in Bauer curve is 9th. Rene Robertson is 2nd. Best lap is a 1:22.312. Daniel Handkin's shell curve is P4. Jody Fannin in hotel is 6th. Best lap is a 1:23.469. Barry Sale is P15. Robert Cormack in Bauer curve is P14. Glenfield in Zeppelin curve is P6 with 10 kilos. Crispin Williamson is P5. Best lap is a 1:23.046. David Forsyth in Bauer curve is P12 with 10 kilos. Jody Fannin is P7. Masaj Sadowski is 12th on softs. Jody Fannin is P7 with 70 kilos. Crispin Williamson is 5th. Jody Fannin is 7th. Crispin Williamson in hotel is 5th. The qualification session is at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben GP layout in Oschersleben, Germany. The wind speed is 3 km/h from the north-northeast. David Forsyth in hotel is P1 with 10 kilos. Crispin Williamson in Hasseröder is third with 70 kilos. Dominic Favagu is P7 with 10 kilos. Daniel Hank is 7th with 70 kilos. David Forsyth is 9th. David Forsyth is up 12.53 in triple. David Forsyth is up 12.23 in shell curve. Brian Patterson in hotel is second with 10 kilos. Jack Betting is P4 up 0.34. David Forsyth is P8 up 0.38. Jack Betting in Bauer curve is 4th up 0.87. Jack Betting improved his 5th with a 123.555. 0.931 off pole. Robert Cormack is P10. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Robert Cormack improved is 7th with a 1:24.606. 1.982 off pole. Brian Patterson in triple is 10th up 0.39. Robert Cormack is 7th up 0.11. Daniel Hamp is 4th up 0.29. Dominic Favagyu in Bauer curve is P11 up 0.28. Dominic Favagyu improved his 9th with a 1:24.676. 2.052 off pole. Marta Jewell is provisional pole with a 1:23.439. Brian Patterson is 13th. John Astrup is P7 up 0.22 with 50 kilos on hards. Best lap is a 1:24.021. 1.397 off pole. Masaj Sadovsky is P8 up 0.17 with 70 kilos on mediums. Best lap is a 1:24.084. 1.460 off pole. John Astrup is 7th up 0.25. Rene Robertson in McDonald's is P1 up 0.29 with 70 kilos on softs. John Astrup is P7. John Astrup improved his 7th with a 1:23.906. 1.282 off pole. Rene Robertson in Bauer curve is P1 up 0.31. Rene Robertson is provisional pole with a 1:22.278. Jody Fannin in Hasseröder is 12th up 0.63 with 70 kilos on softs. Jody Fannin is up 1.36 in McDonald's. Rene Robertson is first up 0.12. Rene Robertson is up 0.06 in Bauer curve. Brian Patterson in Hotel is 13th on softs. Brian Patterson is up 0.92 in triple. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Brian Patterson is up 1.48 in shell curve. Brian Patterson improved his P6 with a 1:23.506, 1.228 off pole. Daniel Handke is P4 up 0.20. Daniel Handke improved his fourth with a 1:22.941, 0.663 off pole. Jody Fannin in McDonald's is P14 up 1.56. Jody Fannin improved his P2 with a 1:22.485, 0.207 off pole. Martin Moll is 7th up 0.64 with 70 kilos on softs. Robert Cormack is 13th up 0.13. Robert Cormack improved his P13 with a 1:24.382, 2.104 off pole. Crispin Williamson is P4 up 0.11. Crispin Williamson improved his P3 with a 1:22.736. 0.458 off pole. John Astrup in Hotel is 9th up 0.39 on softs. Best lap is a 1:23.906, 1.628 off pole. Glenn Field in Triple is 4th up 0.13 with 10 kilos. John Astrup in McDonald's is P9 up 1.30. John Astrup improved his 7th with a 1:23.409, 1.131 off pole. Martin Moll is P8 up 0.24 on mediums. Jody Fannin is 2nd up 0.13. The qualifying session is now in overtime. Jody Fannin improved is second with a 1:22.352. 0.074 off pole. Martin Moll is 8th up 0.26. Martin Moll is up 0.33 in Armagh curve. Martin Moll improved is 6th with a 1:23.061. 0.783 off pole. Jack Betting is 7th. Best lap is a 1:23.282. 1.004 off pole. The race session is at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben GP layout in Oschersleben, Germany. The wind speed is 14 km/h from the north-northeast. Rene Robertson is first. Jody Fannin is second with 70 kilos on softs. Crispin Williamson is third with 70 kilos on softs. Glenn Field is P4 with 10 kilos on mediums. Daniel Handke is fifth with 70 kilos on mediums. Martin Moll is P6 with 70 kilos on mediums. Jack Bedding is 7th on softs. John Astrup is P8 with 50 kilos on softs. Brian Patterson is 9th with 10 kilos on softs. David Forsyth is 10th with 10 kilos on softs. Masaj Sadowski is P11 with 70 kilos on mediums. James Allen is P12 with 70 kilos on hards. Robert Cormack is P13 on softs. Dominic Favagu is 14th with 10 kilos on hards. Barry Sale is P15 on mediums. Rene Robertson is P1 with 70 kilos on softs. 40 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Jody Fannin is second. Jody Fannin lost second to Crispin Williamson. Daniel Handke is P4. Glenn Field in triple is 5th. Jack Bedding is P6. John Astrup in Shell Curve is 7th. Brian Patterson in Zeppelin Curve is 8th. Masaj Sadowski is 12th, 0.1 behind James Allen. Daniel Handke in Hasserota is P4, 0.4 behind Jody Fannin. Jack Bedding in triple is 6th on softs, 0.4 behind Glenn Field. John Astrup in McDonald's is 7th, 0.5 behind Jack Bedding. Masaj Sadowski in Shell Curve is P12, 0.6 behind James Allen. Daniel Handke is P4, 0.5 behind Jody Fannin. David Forsyth in Hotel is 10th, 0.4 behind John Astrup. Jody Fannin is 3rd, 0.9 ahead of Daniel Handke. John Astrup in McDonald's is P9, 0.6 behind Martijn Mol. Martijn Mol was 3.5 faster last lap. Daniel Handke in Zeppelin Curve is 4th, 0.6 behind Jody Fannin. Brian Patterson on lap 4 is 7th, 0.6 behind Jack Bedding. John Astrup in Hotel is 9th, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. James Allen in Hasseröder is P11, 0.4 ahead of Maciej Sadolski. 35 minutes remaining in the session. Maciej Sadolski on lap 4 is 12th, 0.4 behind James Allen. Robert Cormack in McDonald's is 14th, 0.6 behind Dominic Fabardgu. Jody Fannin is P3, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup in Hotel is P9 battling Martijn Mol. Jody Fannin is P3, 0.1 behind Crispin Williamson. Daniel Handke is 4th, 0.6 behind Jody Fannin. Brian Patterson is 6th, 0.6 behind Glenn Field. Brian Patterson was 0.6 faster last lap. Robert Cormack is P14. Best lap is a 1:25.384. 2.837 off the fastest lap. Robert Cormack in Bauer Curve is 14th, 0.6 behind Dominic Fabardgu. Jody Fannin is P3, 0.5 ahead of Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke in triple is 4th, 0.4 behind Jody Fannin. John Astrup is P8, 0.4 behind Jack Bedding. David Forsyth in McDonald's is P11, 0.6 behind Maciej Sadolski. Robert Cormack in Shell Curve is 14, 0.4 behind Dominic Bavardeux. Jody Fannin in Hotel is P3, 0.4 ahead of Daniel Hand. Daniel Handke in Hasseröder is 4th, 0.5 behind Jody Fannin. John Astrup in Triple is 8th, 0.2 behind Jack Bedding. Jack Bedding is P8, 0.2 behind John Astrup. Martin Moll in Shell Curve is P9 with 70 kilos, 0.4 behind Jack Bedding. Daniel Handke is P3, 0.1 ahead of Crispin Williamson. 30 minutes remaining in the session. Daniel Handke lost 3rd to Crispin Williamson. Glenn Field in Hotel is 5th, 0.2 behind Daniel Handke. Martin Moll in Hasseröder is P9, 0.3 behind Jack Bedding. James Allen is 12th, 0.5 behind David Forsyth. Crispin Williamson on lap 8 is 4th, 0.4 ahead of Glenn Field. Glenn Field in Bauer Curve is 5th, 0.4 behind Crispin Williamson. Jack Bedding is 9th. Glenn Field is P5 on mediums, 0.5 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is P7, 0.6 behind Brian Patterson. James Allen in Triple is 12th. Best lap is a 1:25.300. 2.753 off the fastest lap. Glenn Field in Shell Curve is P5, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup in Zeppelin Curve is P7, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. James Allen in Zeppelin Curve is P12 on hards, 0.4 behind David Forsyth. Crispin Williamson in Hasserota on lap 10 is 5th, 0.3 behind Glenfield. John Astrup in triple is 7th, 0.4 behind Brian Patterson. James Allen in triple on lap 10 is 12th, 0.6 behind David Forsyth. Brian Patterson in Armagh Curve is P6, 0.3 ahead of John Astrup. Brian Patterson passed Crispin Williamson for 5th. John Astrup is 8th, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. Crispin Williamson entering the pits is P7. John Astrup entering the pits is 9th. James Allen is P12, 0.6 behind David Forsyth. James Allen is now 10th. Crispin Williamson exiting pits on hards. John Astrup exiting pits on mediums. Dominic Favagu is P11. "25 minutes remaining in the session. John Astrup in Hasserota is 14th on mediums. Best lap is a 1:22.547. James Allen is 10th with 70 kilos, 0.4 behind David Forsyth. Dominic Favagu in Shell Curve on lap 11 is P11, 0.4 behind James Allen. Dominic Favagu was 0.5 faster last lap. John Astrup is 14th, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup was 1.7 faster last lap. Jack Bedding entering the pits is P8. Dominic Favagu in Hotel is P10, 0.6 behind James Allen. Dominic Favagu is now 9th. Jack Bedding exiting pits on mediums. Crispin Williamson in Hotel is 13th on hards, 0.6 behind John Astrup. Dominic Favagu in triple is 9th, 0.4 behind James Allen. Daniel Hamp is 3rd. Best lap is a 1:23.347. 0.800 off the fastest lap. Martin Moll in Hotel is 6th, 0.6 behind Brian Patterson. Martin Moll passed Brian Patterson for P5. Daniel Hamp triple is P3, 0.5 behind Jody Fannin. Daniel Hamp was 0.8 faster last lap. Dominic Favagu in Hasserota is P9, 0.5 behind James Allen. Daniel Hank in Shell Curve is P3 with 70 kilos, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Daniel Hand passed Jody Fannin for P2. David Forsyth is P10, 0.5 behind Dominic Favagu. Jody Fannin entering the pits is P3. Dominic Favagu is P9, 1.0 ahead of David Forsyth. Jody Fannin exiting pits on mediums. David Forsyth is 9th, 0.6 behind Dominic Favagu. John Astrup is P11, 0.6 behind Robert Cormack. Daniel Handkin Zeppelin curve on lap 14 is second, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Daniel Hand passed Rene Robertson for first. Rene Robertson entering the pits is P2. John Astrup is P11 battling Robert Cormack. Glenn Field entering the pits is P5. John Astrup passed Robert Cormack for P10. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Rene Robertson exiting pits on softs. David Forsyth is P10 on softs, 0.3 behind John Astrup. Glenn Field exiting pits on mediums. Robert Cormack entering the pits is P13. Dominic Favagu in hotel is 7th, 0.6 behind James Allen. Masaj Sadolski entering the pits is 14. Glenn Field in Hasserota is 10th, 0.6 behind David Forsyth. Robert Cormack exiting pits on softs. Dominic Favagu is P7, 0.4 behind James Allen. Masaj Sadolski exiting pits on mediums. John Astrup is 8th, 0.1 behind Dominic Favagu. John Astrup was 1.6 faster last lap. John Astrup passed Dominic Favagu for 7th. John Astrup is now 6th. Dominic Favagu in Zeppelin curve is P7, 0.4 behind John Astrup. David Forsyth entering the pits is P11. Glenn Field in hotel is 9th, 0.6 behind James Allen. James Allen in Hasserota is 9th battling Glenn Field. David Forsyth exiting pits on softs. Barry Sale entering the pits is 14th. Glenn Field is P8, 0.6 behind Dominic Favagu. Barry Sale exiting pits on mediums. Martin Moll entering the pits is second. Martin Moll is second. Brian Patterson entering the pits is third. James Allen in Zeppelin curve is 9th, 0.6 behind Dominic Favagu. Martin Moll exiting pits on mediums. Brian Patterson exiting pits on softs. Martin Moll is P8. Martin Moll is now 6th. Brian Patterson on lap 17 is P7, 0.5 behind Martin Moll. James Allen entering the pits is P12. Dominic Favagyu is 9th, 0.7 behind Crispin Williamson. Brian Patterson is P7, 0.6 behind Martin Moll. Martin Moll in Zeppelin curve is P6 with 70 kilos, 0.5 behind Glenfield. Brian Patterson in Hotel is P7, 0.6 behind Martin Moll. Brian Patterson was 2.3 faster last lap. "15 minutes remaining in the session. Martin Moll in Hasseröder is 6th, 0.3 behind Glenfield. Brian Patterson is P7, 0.4 behind Martin Moll. Daniel Hank entering the pits is first. James Allen exiting pits on hards. Dominic Favagyu in McDonald's on lap 18 is 9, 0.5 behind Crispin Williamson. Martin Moll is 6th, 0.2 behind Glenfield. Daniel Hank exiting pits on mediums. Dominic Favagyu is P7, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. Crispin Williamson was 4.1 faster last lap. David Forsyth in Zeppelin curve on lap 18 is 11th, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. David Forsyth passed Brian Patterson for P10. Brian Patterson in Hotel on lap 19 is P11, 0.5 behind David Forsyth. Robert Cormack is P12, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. Robert Cormack passed Brian Patterson for P11. Brian Patterson is P12, 0.4 behind Robert Cormack. Robert Cormack was 25.3 faster last lap. Dominic Favagyu in Zeppelin curve is P7. Martin Moll entering the pits is P9. Brian Patterson is 12th, 0.9 behind Robert Cormack. Martin Moll exiting pits on mediums. Dominic Favagyu is P7, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. Brian Patterson in hotel is P12, 0.6 behind Robert Cormack. Dominic Favagyu is 7th, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. Brian Patterson is P12, 0.5 behind Robert Cormack. Robert Cormack was 8.2 faster last lap. Dominic Favagyu in hotel is 7th, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. Brian Patterson in Zeppelin curve is 12th, 0.6 behind Robert Cormack. Robert Cormack in hotel is 12th, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Robert Cormack passed Brian Patterson for 11th. Dominic Favagyu in McDonald's is 7th on hards, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. 10 minutes remaining in the session. John Astrup in hotel is P4, 2.6 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu in hotel is 7th, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup in McDonald's is P4, 2.0 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu is P7, 0.5 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is 4th, 1.5 behind Jody Fannin. John Astrup was 0.8 faster last lap. Dominic Favagyu is P7 at 10 kilos, 0.5 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is P4 on mediums, 1.6 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu is P7, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is P4, 1.5 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu is 7th. John Astrup is P4, 0.8 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu in triple on lap 24 is P7, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is 4th, 0.6 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu is 7th, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is 4th, 0.5 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu in hotel on lap 25 is 7th, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. 5 minutes remaining in the session. John Astrup is 4th with 50 kilos, 0.4 behind Jody Fannin. John Astrup was 0.8 faster last lap. Dominic Favagyu is P7, 0.6 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is P4, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu is 7th, 0.7 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup in triple is P4, 0.2 behind Jody Fannin. Jack Betting in triple on lap 26 is 7th on mediums, 1.2 behind Crispin Williamson. Martin Moll on lap 26 is 9th, 0.4 behind Dominic Favagyu. Jody Fannin is 4th on mediums battling John Astrup. Jody Fannin passed John Astrup for P3. John Astrup is 4th on mediums, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Dominic Favagyu on lap 27 is 9th, 0.5 behind Martin Moll. Masaj Sadolski in Zeppelin Curve is 12th, 0.4 behind Robert Cormack. John Astrup in Shell Curve is 4th. Masaj Sadolski on lap 27 is P12, 0.1 behind Robert Cormack. Daniel Handke in Hasseröder is P2, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. John Astrup in Hasseröder is 4th, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Daniel Handke on lap 28 is 2nd, 0.2 behind Rene Robertson. John Astrup on lap 28 is 4th, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Maciej Sadolski in Hotel is 12th, 0.6 behind Robert Cormack. Rene Robertson in Hotel is P2, 0.2 behind Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke was 0.6 faster last lap. John Astrup in Hotel is 4th, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Maciej Sadolski is P12, 0.3 behind Robert Cormack. John Astrup is P4 with 50 kilos, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Maciej Sadolski is 12th on mediums, 0.3 behind Robert Cormack. John Astrup is 4th, 1.0 behind Jody Fannin. Maciej Sadolski in triple is P12, 0.3 behind Robert Cormack. John Astrup in triple is P4, 0.6 behind Jody Fannin. Jody Fannin was 0.8 faster last lap. The leader has just finished the race. Daniel Handke finished first. Brian Patterson finished P13. Rene Robertson finished P2. Jody Fannin finished 3rd. John Astrup finished P4. James Allen finished P15. Glenn Field finished P5. Crispin Williamson finished P6. Marty Jamal finished 7th. Dominic Babagu finished P8. Jack Betting finished 9th. David Forsyth finished 10th. Barry Sale finished 14th. Robert Cormack finished 11th. Masaj Sadovsky finished P12. The race session is at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben GP layout in Oschersleben, Germany. The wind speed is 6 km/h from the northeast. James Allen is P1. Barry Sale is second on mediums. Brian Patterson is third with 10 kilos on softs. Masaj Sadowski is fourth with 70 kilos on mediums. Robert Cormack is fifth on softs. David Forsyth is P6 with 10 kilos on softs. Jack Bedding is seventh. Dominic Favagu is eighth with 10 kilos on hards. Martin Moll is ninth with 70 kilos on mediums. Crispin Williamson is P10 with 70 kilos on mediums. Glenn Field is P11 with 10 kilos on mediums. John Astrup is P12 with 50 kilos on hards. Jody Fannin is P13 with 70 kilos on mediums. Rene Robertson is P14 with 70 kilos on softs. Daniel Handke is 15th with 70 kilos on softs. James Allen is P1 with 70 kilos on hards. 40 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Brian Patterson is third. Glenn Field is P11. John Astrup in Hotel is P12. Rene Robertson is P14. Daniel Handke is 15th. Barry Sale is P2. Brian Patterson is P3. Robert Cormack is P5. Jack Bedding is P7, 0.6 behind David Forsyth. Martin Moll in Zeppelin curve on lap 1 is 9, 0.5 ahead of Crispin Williamson. Crispin Williamson in Hotel is 10th with 70 kilos, 0.4 ahead of Glenn Field. Glenn Field is P11, 0.5 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup in triple is 13th, 0.2 behind Jody Fannin. John Astrup lost P14 to Daniel Handke. Jack Betting in McDonald's is P6, 0.4 behind Robert Cormack. Jack Betting is now 5th. Martin Moll in Armand Curve is P7 with 70 kilos, 0.3 behind Dominic Favargue. Martin Moll passed Dominic Favargue for P6. James Allen entering the pits is 2nd. Brian Patterson entering the pits is P3. Dominic Favargue is 7th. Dominic Favargue is now P5. James Allen exiting pits on hards. Brian Patterson exiting pits on softs. Dominic Favargue lost P5 to Crispin Williamson. Barry Sale entering the pits is P15. David Forsyth is 7th. Barry Sale exiting pits on mediums. David Forsyth lost 8th to Jody Fannin. John Astrup is 11th. John Astrup passed David Forsyth for P10. David Forsyth is P11, 0.4 behind John Astrup. 35 minutes remaining in the session. Brian Patterson is P13, 0.2 behind James Allen. Brian Patterson was 0.6 faster last lap. Brian Patterson passed James Allen for 12th. James Allen is P13, 0.6 behind Brian Patterson. Martin Moll in Hotel is P4 on mediums, 0.5 behind Jack Betting. Daniel Handke entering the pits is 14. Dominic Favargue in Hasserota is P7, 0.1 behind Glenn Field. Dominic Favargue lost 7th to Jody Fannin. Daniel Handke exiting pits on hards. Rene Robertson in triple is 9th, 0.3 behind Dominic Favargue. John Astrup in McDonald's is P10, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Jack Betting is P3, 0.3 ahead of Martin Moll. Martin Moll is P4, 0.1 behind Jack Betting. Crispin Williamson in Hotel is 5th. Best lap is a 1:24.920. 1.401 off the fastest lap. Crispin Williamson lost P5 to Glenn Field. John Astrup is 10th, 0.3 behind Dominic Favargue. Brian Patterson is 12th with 10 kilos, 0.6 behind David Forsyth. Martin Moll in Shell Curve is P4, 0.3 ahead of Glenn Field. Jody Fannin is P6 on softs, 0.4 ahead of Crispin Williamson. Rene Robertson in Hotel is 7th. Best lap is a 1:24.028. 0.509 off the fastest lap. Crispin Williamson in Assetto is 8th, 0.6 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 3.0 faster last lap. John Astrup in Triple is 10th, 0.3 behind Dominic Favagu. Marta Jamal on lap 6 is P4, 0.3 behind Jack Bedding. Glenn Field is P5, 0.3 behind Marta Jamal. Jody Fannin is 6th with 70 kilos, 0.1 behind Glenn Field. Crispin Williamson in Hotel is P8 on mediums, 0.3 ahead of Dominic Favagu. 30 minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Favagu in Assetto is 9th battling Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is P10, 0.3 behind Dominic Favagu. Brian Patterson is 11th, 0.1 behind John Astrup. Glenn Field is P4 on mediums, 0.5 behind Marta Jamal. Jody Fannin is 7th battling Rene Robertson. Jody Fannin passed Rene Robertson for P6. Rene Robertson is P7, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Crispin Williamson is P8, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Brian Patterson is 11th, 0.4 behind John Astrup. Glenn Field in Shell Curve is P4 on mediums, 0.4 behind Marta Jamal. John Astrup in Zeppelin Curve is P9, 0.2 behind Dominic Favagu. Masaj Sadolski entering the pits is P1. John Astrup is now 7th. Dominic Favagu in Hotel is P8, 0.1 ahead of Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson was 1.2 faster last lap. Masaj Sadolski exiting pits on mediums. Dominic Favagu lost 8th to Brian Patterson. Jody Fannin entering the pits is 14th. Marta Jamal is 2nd. is third with 10 kilos, 0.4 behind Martijn. Jody Fannin exiting pits on mediums. Rene Robertson is 5th, 0.3 ahead of Crispin Williamson. Crispin Williamson in Zeppelin curve is 6th, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Brian Patterson is P8, 0.4 behind John Astrup. Brian Patterson passed John Astrup for P7. John Astrup in Hasserota is P8, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. Glenn Field is 3rd, 0.4 behind Robert Cormack. Rene Robertson is 4th, 0.4 behind Glenn Field. 25 minutes remaining in the session. Crispin Williamson is 6th. Brian Patterson is P7, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup in Hotel is P8, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. Robert Cormack is P3, 0.2 ahead of Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 1.4 faster last lap. Rene Robertson is P4 on softs, 0.3 behind Robert Cormack. Crispin Williamson is 6th, 0.4 behind Jack Betting. Brian Patterson is P7, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. John Astrup is P8, 0.5 behind Brian Patterson. Dominic Pavaghi in Hotel on lap 12 is 9, 0.6 behind John Astrup. Crispin Williamson in Triple is P5. Best lap is a 1:24.719. 1.200 off the fastest lap. Jack Betting is 6th, 0.4 behind Crispin Williamson. Dominic Pavaghi is 9th with 10 kilos, 0.6 behind Brian Patterson. Robert Cormack in Zeppelin curve is 4th, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Robert Cormack is now 3rd. Rene Robertson entering the pits is 8th. Jack Betting entering the pits is 9th. John Astrup in Hotel is 5th, 0.2 behind Robert Cormack. Brian Patterson in Hasserota is P6 with 10 kilos, 0.4 behind John Astrup. Rene Robertson exiting pits on softs. Jack Betting exiting pits on mediums. Jack Betting in Hotel is P13, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Barry Sale is 15th, 0.1 behind Jody Fannin. Robert Cormack in Armagh Curve is 5th. Brian Patterson is 6th on softs, 0.2 behind Robert Cormack. Glenn Field entering the pits is 3rd. Brian Patterson is now 5th. Brian Patterson passed Robert Cormack for P4. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Robert Cormack is P5. Glenn Field exiting pits on mediums. James Allen in Hasserota is P7 battling Brian Patterson. James Allen passed Brian Patterson for 6th. Robert Cormack is 5th, 0.5 behind Dominic Favargue. James Allen is 6th with 70 kilos, 0.5 behind Robert Cormack. Brian Patterson is P7, 0.6 behind James Allen. Brian Patterson is now 6th. John Astrup in Hotel is 3rd, 0.5 behind Crispin Williamson. Robert Cormack entering the pits is 10th. David Forsyth is P8, 0.5 behind Daniel Hand. Daniel Hand was 3.6 faster last lap. Brian Patterson exiting pits on softs. John Astrup in Triple is 3rd, 0.4 behind Crispin Williamson. Robert Cormack exiting pits on softs. Barry Sale entering the pits is 15th. Barry Sale is P15. Dominic Favargue is 4th, 3.0 ahead of James Allen. Barry Sale exiting pits on mediums. Crispin Williamson entering the pits is 4th. Crispin Williamson is P4. David Forsyth in Zeppelin Curve is 8th, 0.2 ahead of Glenn Field. David Forsyth lost P9 to Rene Robertson. David Forsyth entering the pits is 10th. Crispin Williamson exiting pits on mediums. Brian Patterson is 11th. Brian Patterson passed David Forsyth for P10. David Forsyth exiting pits on softs. Rene Robertson on lap 16 is 8th, 0.1 behind Glenfield. Crispin Williamson is P9, 0.6 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 8.1 faster last lap. Martin Moll entering the pits is P1. Robert Cormack is P12, 0.4 behind Jack Bedding. Jack Bedding was 17.9 faster last lap. Rene Robertson in Zeppelin curve is 8th, 0.3 behind Glenfield. Martin Moll exiting pits on mediums. Crispin Williamson is 9th, 0.3 behind Rene Robertson. Robert Cormack is P12, 0.5 behind Jack Bedding. Crispin Williamson in triple on lap 17 is P9, 0.3 behind Glenfield. Glenfield was 16.5 faster last lap. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Jack Bedding is P12, 0.2 behind Robert Cormack. Glenfield in Armagh curve is 9th, 0.3 behind Crispin Williamson. Crispin Williamson is 9th battling Glenfield. David Forsyth is 13th, 0.6 behind Jack Bedding. Jack Bedding entering the pits is P12. David Forsyth is now 12th. Crispin Williamson in triple is P9, 0.4 behind Glenfield. Jack Bedding exiting pits on softs. Jody Fannin in triple is P13, 1.4 behind David Forsyth. Crispin Williamson in Zeppelin curve is P9, 0.4 behind Glenfield. Crispin Williamson was 0.7 faster last lap. Jody Fannin in Zeppelin curve is 13th with 70 kilos, 1.3 behind David Forsyth. Crispin Williamson is 9th, 0.1 behind Glenfield. Jody Fannin in Hasserota on lap 19 is 13th, 0.6 behind David Forsyth. Martigenmol in Zeppelin curve is P5, 0.5 behind Massage Sadolski. Crispin Williamson is P9, 0.2 behind Glenfield. Jody Fanninenbauer curve on lap 19 is P13, 0.3 behind David Forsyth. Jody Fannin passed David Forsyth for 12th. David Forsyth is 13, 0.4 behind Jody Fannin. Martigenmol is P5 on mediums, 0.3 behind Massage Sadolski. Rene Robertson in Armagh curve is P7, 0.3 behind Daniel Handke. Crispin Williamson in Zeppelin curve on lap 20 is 9, 0.6 behind Glenfield. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Martigenmol in Hotel on lap 21 is 5th, 0.3 behind Massage Sadolski. Crispin Williamson is 9th with 70 kilos, 0.6 behind Glenfield. Martigenmol is 5th on mediums, 0.4 behind Massage Sadolski. Crispin Williamson in McDonald's is 9th, 0.5 behind Glenfield. Martigenmol in Zeppelin curve is P5, 0.4 behind Massage Sadolski. Massage Sadolski is P5, 0.1 behind Martigenmol. Crispin Williamson in Hotel is P9 battling Glenfield. Massage Sadolski is P5 on mediums, 0.9 behind Martigenmol. Crispin Williamson is P9 with 70 kilos, 0.2 behind Glenfield. Crispin Williamson passed Glenfield for P8. Martigenmol is 4th, 1.1 behind James Allen. Martigenmol was 1.9 faster last lap. Jody Fannin in Zeppelin curve is P12, 1.6 behind Robert Cormack. Jody Fannin was 1.1 faster last lap. Martin Moll is P4 on mediums, 0.4 behind James Allen. James Allen is third, 0.2 ahead of Martin Moll. Martin Moll is P4, 0.1 behind James Allen. Martin Moll passed James Allen for P3. James Allen in Hotel is fourth on hards, 0.5 behind Martin Moll. Martin Moll is third, 0.6 behind Dominic Favargue. Jody Fannin is P12, 1.0 behind Robert Cormack. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Martin Moll is third, 0.4 behind Dominic Favargue. Jody Fannin is 12th, 0.5 behind Robert Cormack. Rene Robertson entering the pits is P7. Dominic Favargue in Hotel is third, 0.1 behind Martin Moll. Jody Fannin is 12th, 0.7 behind Robert Cormack. Rene Robertson exiting pits on softs. Daniel Hank is P6 on hards, 0.6 behind Maciej Sadolski. Robert Cormack is P12, 0.5 behind Jody Fannin. Daniel Hank is P6 on hards, 0.5 behind Maciej Sadolski. Rene Robertson in Zeppelin Curve is P10 on softs, 0.6 behind Glenfield. Daniel Hank is 6th, 0.4 behind Maciej Sadolski. Rene Robertson is P10 with 70 kilos, 0.1 behind Glenfield. James Allen in Shell Curve on lap 26 is 4th, 0.3 behind Dominic Favargue. Daniel Hank in Zeppelin Curve is 6th with 70 kilos, 0.3 behind Maciej Sadolski. Rene Robertson in Armagh Curve is 10th. Massage Sadolski is 6th. Best lap is a 1:23.965. 1.120 of the fastest lap. Rene Robertson on lap 27 is 11th, 0.6 behind Jody Fannin. Massage Sadolski is 6th. Rene Robertson is 11th, 0.2 behind Jody Fannin. Daniel Hank is P5 with 70 kilos, 1.0 behind James Allen. Rene Robertson is 11th, 0.3 behind Jody Fannin. Jody Fannin in Hotel is 11th battling Rene Robertson. Jody Fannin passed Rene Robertson for P10. Daniel Hank in Shell Curve is 5th, 0.3 behind James Allen. Rene Robertson is P11, 0.1 behind Jody Fannin. Jody Fannin is 11th with 70 kilos battling Rene Robertson. Daniel Hank in Hasseröder is 5th, 0.3 behind James Allen. Jody Fannin is 11th, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. The leader has just finished the race. John Astrup finished first. Martin Moll finished P2. Dominic Pavagu finished P3. James Allen finished P4. Daniel Hank finished 5th. Massage Sadolski finished 6th. Crispin Williamson finished 7th. Brian Patterson finished P8. Glenn Field finished P9. Rene Robertson finished 10th. Jody Fannin finished 11th. Robert Cormack finished P12. Jack Bedding finished 14th. David Forsyth finished P13. Barry Sale finished P15.